Okay. Show me.
Hi there guys, welcome back to the Dutch CC channel. Thank you very much for tuning in for the main of flight, line of sight of this brand new Diatone GTR569. Also available as a 4S version. What I have here is the 6S version, and in the course of this video you will see, and I will tell you why the 6S version is basically the only version you should consider. There. That's a statement. Yeah, the 4S version, I'm sure it's a nice quadcopter, but I'd forget about that. I'd get the 6S version. And if you haven't seen my presentation video on this quadcopter, this quadcopter is to celebrate, I guess, the 7 years anniversary of Diatone, and it has a nice screen printing on it, which makes it a bit of a collector's item, at least to me. Am I a Diatone fan? Well, I'm not that much of a fan of anything. Well, I'm a fan of Robbie Nash and Sting, and that's about it. But having said that, I do like the brand Diatone. They make quality stuff at a reasonable price. So what I'll do now is fly it. I'll do two flights, one on 6S and one on 4S, and I have two lipos here. A GNB 1100 120C 6S, big honking lipo, 1100. I had expected that to be a bit much. It isn't. This is a really nice lipo for this quadcopter, as it turns out. What I also have, and this is a 4S, is a brand new R-line from Tattoo, Gensays, a 3.0. Apparently we now need version numbers for our lipos, but well, this is a new 120C lipo, 1300 mAh 4S. And just like the Hyperion lipo I showed you a couple of days ago, this lipo is of a new generation. It's very light for the performance you get. This is a very high performance lipo. I haven't flown it much. I'm in the process of duration testing, long-term testing it, but so far very nice lipos these, and light, super duper light. I will have links in the description to both of these lipos I'll be flying, and I'll be using this the FrSky R-XSR radio, and I fly the quadcopter line of sight, so we won't be using FPV gear. Here we go. Alright guys, 6S maiden flight for the Diatone GTR569, special edition, 7-year anniversary edition. Let's see if it flies. This is generally my first flight with it, so let's see what happens.
Engines armed.
And guess what? It actually flies. And the first thing I notice is that it's not awkward to hover. A lot of 6S quads are awkward to hover, being your throttle position would be at 20%. This is more or less 35–40%. Okay, so punch out. Yeah. And the second thing I notice is, well, the second thing I notice is that it's very powerful, but that was to be expected, right, on 6S. It also sounds reasonably smooth, even though I am not flying it on the stock propellers. You might have noticed that on the stock propellers, those whiskey colored propellers, it's even more smooth, which means more efficient. But even on these more noisy flash propellers I'm flying here, it's not a noisy quadcopter at all. It is very windy, by the way. I hope you'll be able to hear what I'm saying. But yeah, okay, so it was completely to be expected that this was a fast quadcopter on 6S, right? But this is generally my maiden flight, so I'm happy it actually flies. And it flies well from the looks of it.
2 minutes.
Very smooth, easy to fly. So definitely not a handful on 6S. It is a bit, yeah, if you've just flown a 4S quadcopter, it is a bit floaty. Simply because at 50% throttle you won't be hovering, you'll be taking off. But that's pretty normal for a 6S quad. Ah, damn. Okay, yeah, so it definitely is a quick quadcopter. And this is a reasonably large field here, but far too small for this quadcopter to really stretch its legs. Yeah, very responsive. Nice. Cool stuff.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Yeah, I expect the flight time to be reasonably long actually, up to 5 minutes. This is an 1100 6S. So, and a 120 C rating, so I expect the voltage drop to be very low. I cannot sense any sag so far. I haven't been hammering it either, and generally in FPV you fly a quadcopter harder. Yeah, definitely not a handful, so that's nice. Easy and smooth, but fast.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Yeah, okay. Cool. Now I can't feel any sag yet. 4 minutes. Huh. Impressive. So yeah, that's what you fly 6S for, right? Lower sag and longer flight times. And maybe if you want to, more performance, but I personally fly 6S for lower voltage sag and longer flight times. But yes, this is successful. Cool stuff, man. And I can't wait to FPV fly this quadcopter.
Engines disarmed.
Alright guys, 4S test flight with the Diatone GTR569. So this quadcopter is obviously meant to be flown on 6S. I'm gonna have a try to see what it performs like on 4S. I can expect, or I expect that a lot of people have 4S specs and an array of 4S. So if you'd buy this quadcopter or any other 6S quadcopter, can you still have use for your 4S specs? Let's see if that's the case, at least with this Diatone.
Engines armed.
It takes off. Okay, I have to say that I just flew it on a 6S, so will take a little bit of getting used to. But okay, yeah, so the punch out isn't as rocket-like as on 6S, right? Yeah, but it flies. I will do the same thing in FPV, by the way. Fly it on 6S and on 4S. We'll do that in a separate video, of course. But okay, from the looks of it, it takes a little getting used to, but it doesn't fly a whole lot different than a 4S quadcopter, if you know what I mean. So this quadcopter is actually available as a 4S version, but from 1 minute. But from the looks of it, there is no reason not to go for the 6S version. Why? Well, the 6S version you can fly on 4S and on 6S. Maybe you want to get into it, fly on 4S at the start of a session, get your finger movements going. And again, just like on 6S, I'm a bit surprised by how quiet the quadcopter is. I know these propellers. I've flown these flash propellers quite a lot on other quadcopters, and I know them to be a bit noisy, fast but noisy. On this quadcopter I'm not sure why actually. I guess the tune works out well. Oh, by the way, I haven't retuned it for 4S. A minute ago I flew it on 6S and it was fine. On 4S it also, that's a bit surprising. Nice. Okay, so yeah, that's a nice test. I guess it's definitely usable on 4S, this quad. So again, if you were considering to get this quadcopter, I would strongly suggest getting the 6S version. There is no reason not to. There is also not really a reason to fly it on 6S, by the way. Even if you are a beginner,
3 minutes.
it's not like 6S is more difficult or more dangerous. Basically, the only thing that's different, or that should be different, is that the voltage is higher and the amperage is lower, right? The performance should be more or less the same in an ideal world in which we don't live. But okay. It's not more intimidating to fly it on 6S, at least not this one. Yeah, fun to fly on 6S, nothing wrong with it. So, oh, by the way, this is a powerful 4S. Maybe that makes a difference somewhat. Maybe I'm cheating a little, but it's not like this is a 5S. That's basically also an option, of course. If you have 5S specs, you can fly this quad on 4S, on 5S and on 6S. Very versatile. And yeah, that goes for most any 6S quadcopter. Not all, but... So that's... I can't believe how docile and controllable this quad is. Very easy to fly. It doesn't have LEDs. And part of the reason why I chose to fly it on these propellers is orientation, right? Black propellers at the rear, transparent at the front, but reasonably easy to keep track of because it flies so predictably. I was generally a bit worried, but there I shouldn't have been. Nice! Yeah, the punches are a bit lackluster when you've just flown a 6S. But it flies just fine. Cool! Successful test! Alright, well, my next video on this quadcopter will of course be an FPV test flight, and we'll do that on 6S and on 4S as well. Why not? For now, I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video. Bye bye.
Engines